We welcome all of you all to the second class of the second canto of Applied Bhagavatam. Today we're going to speak on the fourth chapter of the second canto. This is a very small but a very insightful chapter of the second canto of Bhagavatam. And there is a specific reason why I chose to speak only on this chapter, because after this chapter, the next two or three chapters are very technical in nature. And there's a lot of very complicated jargon coming up in the next two chapters. So this chapter kind of it falls in a different league. So I didn't want to combine this chapter with the next two. So I thought I'll take this chapter separately. This chapter actually prepares our mind for the next few chapters coming up. So this chapter begins with Sutta Goswami. So if you all remember, the discussion of the Bhagavatam is Vyasadeva is writing the Bhagavatam. He's compiled the Bhagavatam. But that Bhagavatam that Vyasadeva has written is actually spoken by Sutta Goswami to the sages of Naimisharanya, the 60,000 sages of Naimisharanya. And Sutta Goswami is talking about a discussion that he heard of Shukadeva Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj. So it's like dialogue within the dialogue within dialogue. So Sutta Goswami is telling the sages of Naimisharanya that after the previous chapter, where anybody remembers where we ended the previous chapter? What are the last thing that we discussed in the previous chapter, the third chapter? The second and third, the first three chapters that we took an overview of last time. Yeah, what was the last thing that we spoke? Not 2.8, Baba. It has to be the third chapter. So the last thing that we ended the whole discussion with is Parikshit Maharaj is requesting Shukadeva Goswami to narrate to him some details. So here what is going to happen is Parikshit Maharaj is now in a mood to more or less dedicate his life towards the focus on the higher aspect of life. Shukadeva Goswami sufficiently inspired him that it is time for you to go inside. It is time for you to dig deeper into your heart and not look for anything outside. So if you remember, Parikshit Maharaj gave up all his externals, he gave up his attachment to all the external things, and he's going deeper. And now when Parikshit Maharaj is going deeper, he closes his eyes and he removes his attachments to everything externally that he has. There is a verse that says, Parikshit Maharaj, he wholeheartedly focuses attention on Krishna, and he is able to give up his deep-rooted attachment to his personal body, to his wife, to his children, to his palace, to his animals like the horses and elephants, to his treasury, to his friends and relatives and his kingdom. One by one, you see, all of these are our attachments, the most important attachments that we have in life, isn't it? We may be able to give up attachment to one thing, but we may get stuck in attachment to something else. So here, even animals are mentioned, So even if you give attachment to so many other things, somebody gets stuck in an attachment to an animal. A lot of people lost everything in that fire in LA, but the attachment to that one particular animal was so intense. They jumped into the fire to save that animal. They let everything else burn, but I can't allow my pet to die. So sometimes what happens is we can give up attachment to one thing, but we get stuck with attachment to another thing. So Parikshit Maharaj is giving up attachment to everything, all stuff and all people, and completely focus on his attachment to Krishna only. And in that thought, with that thought in his mind, Parikshit Maharaj is going to make a request to Shukadeva Goswami. I want all of you all to see this diagram that I have provided all of you in the handouts. This diagram is very pictorially representing this entire chapter actually. This diagram has three layers. If you see, there is an outer layer which has the word Guru written on it, the outer heart. So there are 3 concentric hearts. The outer heart has the word Guru written on it all over. In the inner heart, the second layer of the heart, there are many elements written over here. Personalizing prayer, respect, etc. All of these are elements of what is supposed to be in a good prayer. And the inner heart, the deepest part, the third heart, is called gratitude to Guru. And this is the way in which this entire discussion is happening. It's amazing how a discussion that is so deep between Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami can teach us so many things about how to pray to God. Parikshit Maharaj, he begins the discussion by glorifying his Guru, Shukadeva Goswami. He tells Shukadeva Goswami, my dear learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without any material contamination. And therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness in my heart as you're narrating topics related to Krishna. And he says, I beg you to know more about Krishna, about how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by his personal energies, created this phenomenal world, and which is inconceivable even for the greatest of demigods. And he says, kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining again and again and winding up this world like a player playing a sporting game. And he says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he acts alone with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands into many forms. I want to know everything. And finally, he concludes by saying, kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries because you're not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but you're also self-realized in transcendence, and also you are a great devotee of the Lord, and therefore you are as good as the personality of Godhead. So, Parikshit Maharaj is now first glorifying Shukadeva Goswami and is making a request to Shukadeva Goswami, please explain to me everything about creation. So the word that is specifically used for creation is known as Sarga. Sarga and Nisarga. These are the 2 words that are the first 2 cantos are about. Sarga and Visarga. This is about creation and destruction. So basically in this verse, Parikshit, in this series of verses, Parikshit Maharaj is glorifying Shukadeva Goswami, his Guru. And then he is requesting the Guru to explain what is inconceivable. Now the question is, if something is inconceivable, which means it is beyond human comprehension, isn't it? Why should he request Shukadeva Goswami to clarify something that is, Parikshit is saying that no matter how much intelligence you have, no matter how learned a scholar you are, you can't understand God. After telling that, why is telling that tell me something about creation which is inconceivable? The reason Parikshit Maharaj is saying like this is because normally for a human being, things are inconceivable. And conceiving the Lord is beyond comprehension for normal human beings. But Prabhupada in the purport, he gives a very beautiful explanation. Why Parikshit is saying like this to Shukadeva Goswami. He says, not only was Shukadeva Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic scriptures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. And look at this statement. A powerful devotee of the Lord is by the grace of the Lord more than the Lord himself. The personality of God at Ramachandra attempted to build a bridge over the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the Lord, he jumped across the ocean. He didn't need a bridge. And then Prabhupada says, when Durvas Muni approached Lord Vishnu, saying that please save me from the Sudarshan Chakra that is following me, Vishnu said, I can't do anything for you. And then Amrish Maharaj's devotee saved him. So Prabhupada is saying, actually, the devotee of the Lord is more powerful than the Lord. What is inconceivable even for the Lord, the devotee of the Lord can teach you. And therefore, we should start everything that we do by taking shelter of the devotee of the Lord. So whatever prayer we offer in our lives, we should always start prayers by first praying to Guru to give us the knowledge to pray. Because without the knowledge to pray, without any kind of knowledge, we cannot even conceive anything. And therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is making such a statement. And then Shukadeva Goswami, this is amazing. Now, Shukadeva Goswami, what is Parikshit asking? Parikshit is asking, please tell me about creation, right? Instead of Shukadeva Goswami directly talking about creation, he offers an elaborate series of prayers. He does not talk about creation in this chapter at all. This entire chapter, he is only praying to the Lord, please empower me to speak. And in the next chapter, he starts speaking. And how he offers prayers is what we're going to discuss today. So these are all the set of prayers offered by Shukadeva Goswami in this context of Parikshit's question. So Parikshit has asked him a question, his disciple has asked him a question. Shukadeva Goswami is praying to the Lord, please empower me to understand you so that I can speak to Parikshit. And here are the series of prayers. So we will chant the first prayer. Shri Shuka Uvacha Nama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sad Udbhavastana Nirod Leelaya Grahita Shakti Tritayaya Dehinam Antarbhavayanukalpaksh Kalpa Lakshya Vartmane. So my suggestion is, what we'll do is today, we will just read all these prayers together. We'll not do a repetition. We'll do together, all of us. Quickly read all the prayers and then I'll explain all the prayers at one go. Bhuyo nama namasad visijya chiddha sattam asambhavaya khila sattva murtaye pumsam puna paramahamsaye ashrame vyavasthitanam anugram devdasuse namo namaste stvarshabhaya satvatam vidhura kastaya muhu yoginam Nirasta samyati sahya niradese swadhamni brahmani ramyaste namaha yad kirtanam yad smaranam yadikshanam yad vandanam yad charanam yad arhanam lokasya sadhyo vidunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha vichikshanane yakcharanopasadanat Sangam Vyadudyas Bhayato Antaratmana Vindanti hi Brahmagatim Gatart Kalmasha Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha Tapasvino Dana Parayashasvino Manasvino Mantravida Sumangala Shemam Navindanti Vinaya Darpanam Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha Kiratahunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Sumbhaya Vanakashadaya Yenye Papa Yatapashraya Shayasa Shuddhanti Tashmai Prabhavishnave Namaha Shaesha Atma Vatavan Adisravash Trayimayo Dharmamayas Tapomaya Gatavyalikir Ajasankrad Ardavir Vitarkya Lingo Bhagavan Prasiditam Shriya Patir Yagyapati Prajapatir Diyam Pati Lokapati Dharapati Pati Gatis Chandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Pati Yadangri Abhidhyana Samadhi Dautaya Diyanupashyanti Tattvamatmana Vadanti chaitat kavayo yatharucham Dame mukundo bhagavan prasidatam Prachoditena pura saraswati Vitantavadyasa satim smritim hridi Swalakshana pradodbhut kilaksheta Same rishinam rishabha prasiditam Bhuter mahader yaima puro vibhu Nirmaya te yadam supurusha Bhumte gunan shodasa shodasatmaka Solang srite bhagavan vachamsi me Namastasmay bhagavate vasudevaya vedase Papurnyanam ayam saumya yan mukham burhavasam. This series of verses spoken by Shukadeva Goswami are very profound in the way we can offer prayers to the Lord. This series starts with Shukadeva Goswami offering respects to the Supreme Lord. And at the same time, he's showing how he's feeling how the Lord is so close to him, very intimately close to him. Shukadeva Goswami says, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, for the creation of the material world, accepts the three modes of material nature. He is complete, whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable." So, in this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is beginning his prayer by doing two things. First, he is offering respects to the Lord. The word Namaha, Nama Parasmai. The first word is Namaha, which means he is offering respects to the Lord. And along with offering respect to the Lord, he is also saying, the Lord is within me. Antar Bahaya. So, which means he's feeling the Lord is very close to him, very intimately connected to him. Now, this is something very beautiful. Usually, either we respect the Lord or we feel very close to the Lord. One of the two. A lot of people, if you see, they have a very different bhava. There's awe and reverence. That is one type of worship of the Lord. And then there is ragatma, which is a very informal way of worshipping the Lord. Here, he's showing both. He's showing respect also, but at the same time, he's saying that the Lord is close to my heart also. One time, when Hiranyaksha was ruling this world, at that time, the Lord incarnated in the form of this boar incarnation as Varahadev, and he killed Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyaksha's brother Hiranyakashipu comes and pacifies the wives of Hiranyaksha, and he tells them, don't regret, don't cry, and all that. So the wives asks him, what is this? Don't you feel any anger towards Vishnu who killed your brother? Hiranyaksha says, of course, I feel anger. But why should I lament? My brother is already gone. Why should I cry? I am going to go and destroy Vishnu. So then Hiranyakashipu takes a vow that wherever Vishnu is, I will go and kill him. And Hiranyakashipu actually goes all over the universe, including he reaches Vaikuntha. And he finds over there, in Vaikuntha, Vishnu is missing. Vaikuntha is Vishnu's missing, snake bed is there, Lakshmi Devi is there, and all the other personalities are there, but Vishnu is missing. So he is really bewildered. Where did Vishnu hide? He's asking everyone, where is Vishnu? Where is Vishnu? Nobody knows where is Vishnu. And then finally, Narsingadev comes and kills him and all that. And Prahlad Maharaj asks him, my father was searching you all over the world. He couldn't find you. Where were you hiding? And Narsingadev tells him that I was hiding in your father's heart. Because I knew he will search me everywhere except his heart. So Prahlad asks him, were you so scared of my father that you went and hid in his heart? Narsingadev tells him, no, I was not scared. If he saw me and he fought against me, I would have to kill him. But I was hiding because I wanted you to point out to that pillar and say, here is Narsingadev. And your word should come true. That's why I was hiding inside his heart till you say that I am there in that pillar. And then I came out from his heart. And I went into the pillar and then came and killed him. Prahlad Maharaj was amazed by this explanation that Narsingadev gave him, And it's most amazing that Narasimhadev is hiding in the heart of Hiranyakashipu only. Of course, Narasimhadev is always there in the heart of Hiranyakashipu as Paramatma. And that's what Narasimhadev meant. But not everybody understands that the Paramatma is inside our heart, isn't it? Now imagine if we have the full conviction someday that Krishna is actually inside me. How much our prayers will be more powerful, isn't it? How much we will be more peaceful and stop roaming around the whole world looking for God or looking for different things, isn't it? The conviction that the Lord is within us is the most powerful conviction that yogis, it really pacifies them and makes them sit in one place and stop hankering. We are all roaming around like crazy, isn't it? Either for work or for pleasure or for some restlessness. We are all roaming around like crazy simply because we are not finding the Lord. And here, Shukadeva Goswami is beginning his prayer by pointing out to this fact that let us understand that He is right inside us and we have a very intimate connection with Him. And then Shukadeva Goswami, he tells, in his prayer, he's telling, my dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances to you unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is a liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses and the destroyer of further advances in the atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists, who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, He grants their specific destinations. Here, Shukadeva Goswami is telling, he's praying. So these are all different prayers that Shukadeva Goswami is offering to the Lord. So the first prayer is that he says, my dear Lord, I offer respects to you and I know you are within me. And then he says, I know, in this prayer he says, I know that you grant, you reciprocate with whoever approaches you according to their desires. So if a pious devotee is approaching you, you destroy all his problems. You free him from all his problems. If a atheistic person or non-devotee is approaching you, you destroy that atheistic temperament in their heart. If a transcendentalist who is a pure devotee is approaching you, you grant that person a specific destination. So suppose there is a devotee of Narasimhadev, they get to go to the planet of Narasimhadev. There's a devotee of Lord Ram, they get to go to the planet of Lord Ram. So different devotees reach different destinations. So what he is saying essentially is, each one of us have a very personal dealing with the Lord. The Lord is not only inside our heart, but He also deals with us personally according to our desires. One time, there was a great king that lived in Mithila. And this great king was celebrating Sita Ram Kalyanam in a very grand way. And he wanted to invite Lord Krishna to attend this festival. Imagine, he wanted to invite Krishna to attend Sita Ram Kalyanam festival in Mithila. So what memories Krishna will have, his own incarnation, his own pastime, he's getting to attend a festival. So this person, this king from Mithila, he sent one person to invite him. And so this person, his name was Samiran. He told him, can you go and invite Krishna from Dwarka to come and attend this festival? So this Samiran, he was on his way going towards Dwarka. And on his way towards Dwarka, in the same street where Samiran lives, there is another devotee named Shrutadevar, who also lived in the same street. So Shrutadevar came to know that my neighbor, my friend, Samiran is going to Dwarka to invite Krishna for this festival. So Samiran, out of great love, he told Shrutadevar out of great love told Samiran that when you go and invite Krishna to come to Mithila for this festival, can you also give him my palm leaf? In that palm leaf, the Shrutadevar had written a personal invitation to visit his hut. So Krishna is coming for this big festival, and this guy is staying in a small hut. He's written a palm leaf, he's sending with this person saying that please come to my hut also. And this, Samiran, he said, I'll do whatever you say. And he took the palm leaf and went to Dwarka. And he reached Lord Krishna in Dwarka and he presented the invitation of the king, And Krishna said, yes, I'll come. And he said, anything else? Then Samiran remembered this palm leaf and gave this palm leaf to Krishna. And when Krishna read that palm leaf, he told him, tell him, I will definitely come. And then this person, went. One night before Krishna arrived in Mithila, everybody was excited. Obviously, Krishna is coming, for the first time to Mithila. So everybody was excited and ready. The king of the country had kept a kalash ready to receive Krishna, very elaborate decorations and a lot of procession to receive Krishna on one gate. And Shrutadevar, he also had decided to go and receive Krishna. He planned to get up early in the morning and go to the southern gate where the reception of Krishna was supposed to happen. And unfortunately, the next day morning, Shrutadevar, he had severe fever. He could not get out of bed only. And he was, he was crying in agony. Krishna, why are you testing me like this? And the son of the Shrutadevar, he went and brought a doctor. He could not even speak to the doctor. Somehow he managed to ask him, has Krishna reached the southern gate? The doctor said, wait a minute. Who told you he is reaching the southern gate? Krishna is reaching the northern gate. And northern gate was few minutes away from Shrutadevar's house. He said, oh, I didn't know he is reaching the northern gate. And Shrutadevar, somehow he got some energy. He picked up the kalash that he had kept ready, ran to the northern gate to receive Krishna. And he expected that there will be a huge procession, thousands of people waiting and all that. Empty. Nobody is there. He is the only guy standing over there in the northern gate. And he was very confused. Did the doctor lie or what happened exactly? And lo and behold, Krishna comes there. And Krishna, this guy is surprised. Krishna has come over here. Nobody is there to receive. He obviously receives Krishna in his best way. And he holds Krishna's hand and takes him to his house, to his small hut. And Krishna sits over there, spends the whole day with him. He feeds Krishna. He spends the whole day with Krishna. And Krishna from his hut only goes back to Mathura. And this guy is wondering, why is Krishna not going to the king's palace to attend the Sitaram Kalyanam festival? And he is so happy and blissful. Krishna never even asked about the festival. He never asked about anybody else. He only spent time with him and went away. And the most amazing thing was, the next day he got to know Krishna also entered the southern gate. And the southern gate was a big procession over there. And he attended the full festival over there also. And everybody was fully focused on that Krishna. But another form of Krishna came over here and only personally spent time with this one guy. Imagine how personal Krishna can be in his dealings with his devotees. And that's why Shukadeva Goswami is trying to tell over here that if different people pray to him, the way Krishna reciprocates will be different. The king prayed to him, saying that come for a festival. And he wanted Krishna to come in a very grand way and, invite Krishna in a very, and Krishna reciprocated there. And this fellow only said, come to my hut. And Krishna reciprocated in that way. And that's why Krishna is when you offer prayers, we should understand that he is a very personal God. And his dealings are also very personal. So our prayers to him also should have a personal touch. Understanding who we are, understanding what our position is and what our situation is. And accordingly we offer those prayers. Then Shukadeva Goswami, he offers obeisances to the Lord, who is the member of the Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is a supreme enjoyer of both material and the spiritual world. Yet, he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. And then Shukadeva Goswami says, let me offer my respectful obeisances to all auspicious Lord Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing and worship can cleanse the effect of all sins of the performers. So here, Shukadeva Goswami is trying to tell us that Krishna is the enjoyer but he also gives enjoyment to his devotees. He also frees his devotees from all sufferings. And therefore, when we connect with Krishna, we have to learn to enjoy Krishna also. When Hanumanji met Lord Ram for the first time, the moment Hanumanji saw Lord Ram, he knew immediately that he is my savior, because Hanumanji saw the bow of Lord Ram. The moment Hanuman saw the bow of Lord Ram, he was convinced this person has come to save me. Obviously, all of us know the Lord as Rakshaka. That means he is a person who can save us. But at the same time, Hanumanji had another thought also. You know what thought he was having? Hanuman was seeing two things at the same time. One, he was seeing the bow of Lord Ram, which convinced him that he is my savior. The second thing Hanumanji was seeing was one shoulder of Lord Ram that was not covered. So Ram was wearing the deer skin and one shoulder was empty. And Hanuman, when he saw that shoulder of Lord Ram that was empty without clothes, he was going mad. He was thinking, why is Ram not wearing any ornaments or clothes on that shoulder? And he wanted to ask Lord Ram, why have you not decorated that shoulder? And obviously Ram didn't answer. So Hanumanji started thinking, why has Ram not covered his shoulders? And Hanumanji got several reasons. The first reason is that usually you wear an ornament to beautify yourself. You wear clothes to beautify yourself, right? We without clothes, we look ugly. But when we wear some clothes, we look okay, But the Supreme Lord, when he does not wear clothes, he looks beautiful. When he wears clothes, he looks less beautiful. So he wears clothes to become less beautiful. So here Hanumanji is saying, you exposing this little part of your body, it's actually to expose your beauty a little bit to people who need that. And then Hanumanji says, there are different types of people that need to see the beauty of the Lord. The Lord has different ways to capture the heart of his devotees. The first way in which he captures the heart of his devotees is by teaching them Bhagavad Gita, teaching them scriptures. But a lot of people, their heart don't melt by hearing Bhagavad Gita and all that. Therefore, the Lord says these people are tough nuts to crack. So he says, I can't do it with my scriptures. So he sends Acharya. So when they hear Acharyas, they experience the sweetness of Acharya's reciprocation, then some people's hearts melts. But some people are even tougher nuts to crack. Even when an Acharya comes and teaches them sweet things, still their heart doesn't melt. So with such tough nuts, the Lord has only one way left, which is he shows them his divine beauty. And in that also, he has three levels of showing his divine beauty. The first level of showing his divine beauty is where he shows himself fully decorated. Some people's heart melts when they see the Lord fully decorated nicely. And some people's heart doesn't melt that time also. At that time, the Lord shows his form without clothes. And that's what is called Abhishek. When we come to the temple and see Abhishek of the Lord is without any clothes. And some people, when they see the beauty of the Lord without clothes in Abhishek, they go completely mad and their heart melts completely. But there are some people whose heart doesn't melt even with that. And at that time, the Lord has the ultimate weapon, which 100% melts people's hearts. See, there are some people who are beautiful from the front. And there are some people who are more beautiful from behind. It is said, for the Lord, the front beauty is lesser than the back beauty of the Lord. Therefore, the front beauty of the Lord is exposed to the world. The back beauty of the Lord only pure devotees can see. Have you ever seen in Abhishek they showing deity from behind and doing Abhishek? Never you will see. Only pujaris who can stand in the altar, they can see the back beauty of the Lord, basically. That back beauty of the Lord is so amazing. In Melkote there is a festival where they take the Lord on a palki in a procession. And the deity is there. He's on a palki and he's being taken in the procession. There's a pillow kept at the back of the Lord. And as the procession is going around the town, thousands of people gather around. At one particular time in the festival, at some point, the pujari removes the pillow from behind. And when the pujari removes the pillow from behind, everybody at the back faints, seeing the back beauty of the Lord. And that's the ultimate power, ultimate beauty of the Lord that melts everybody's hearts. And this is how the Lord is called as not only Rakshaka, but he's also a Bhogatva. Rakshatva means the one who protects you. Bhogatva means the one you can enjoy. A sword protects you. But can you enjoy the sword? Can you kiss the sword? Can you hug the sword and sleep in the night? Can you hug a pistol and sleep in the night? You'll die, isn't it? It might protect you, but you can't love it. You can't enjoy it. A halwa, you can enjoy. But can the halwa protect you from a tiger? From a barking dog? That halwa can't do anything for you, isn't it? You can enjoy it, but it can't protect you. But the Lord is both. He is like a sword and he is like halwa, both simultaneously. So that's why Hanumanji is seeing the sword, the bow of Lord Ram. At the same time, he is seeing the open beauty of Lord Ram. And Hanuman is thinking, my Lord, do you think I am such a tough nut that you have to open one shoulder and come to me? That I need, this fellow's heart will melt only when I show some part of my beauty. Hanumanji is thinking like that. What an amazing thought, right? What an amazing way of looking at the whole thing. This is called rasa. This is rasa tattva. So whenever we offer prayers, there has to be an element of respect. There has to be an element of understanding how the Lord is so close to us, intimately connected to us. Understand that the Lord has very personal dealing with all of us. And then we also should talk about how the Lord is someone who is the enjoyer and someone whom we can enjoy also. And finally, the fifth thing that Shukadeva Goswami talks about is how the connection with the Lord, whatever connection we have with the Lord, it need not be something that is very complicated. The prayer that he is offering over here is that let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering to his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to present and future existence, without difficulty progress towards spiritual existence. So he's saying that the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering to his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments. Now here, the word highly intellectual is a little sarcastic type of word, basically. Because technically, you don't need to be highly intellectual to understand and surrender to the Lord. In fact, simple people can surrender to the Lord easier. Isn't it? The more intellectual you are, the more complicated it is. The more difficult it is to surrender to the Lord. So here, he is trying to tell that simply by surrendering to the lotus feet of the Lord, one is relieved of all attachment to present and future existences. Is it so simple for highly intellectual people to surrender to the Lord? It's not at all so easy for highly intellectual people to surrender to the Lord, isn't it? Now, how do you understand this? Let me tell you a story that will help us understand this particular verse, this particular prayer of Shukadeva Goswami in a more simpler way. One time, Ramanujacharya was on a pilgrimage to Vrindavan. He was traveling to all the holy places of Mathura and Vrindavan. And he was just so much absorbed in the pastimes of Krishna. And he kept telling how many pastimes Krishna has done in these places. What a magical place this is. Some of the disciples of Ramanujacharya, they asked him that the Lord is incarnated to protect the good and destroy the evil and to re-establish dharma. Why does he have to perform just childish pastimes? So Ramanujacharya replied that Krishna performs pastimes for two reasons. One is for laymen and one is for pandits, for great scholars. So the disciples asked, what are these? What are these two differences? So he says, for the benefit of, you know, for the benefit of laymen, the pastimes are ways of attracting their heart towards Krishna. So when a common man sees Krishna stealing butter, playing with the boys, performing Ras Leela, they're just so amazed. They have no Vedic knowledge at all. They have no great piety at all. They have no scholarship at all. But these pastimes are so attractive because they're so beautifully designed. Every story of Krishna is so unique and so amazing. So it just attracts the heart. And that way, a layman, a person who is a commoner, who doesn't have much knowledge of scriptures, gets attracted to Krishna. And then the disciples asked, what about pandits? Krishna said, Ramanujacharya said, through every pastime that Krishna does, there is a Vedantic and Upanishadic meaning to that pastime. So while the layman is looking at the pastime, the Pandit is reflecting why Krishna has done this. What is the inner meaning of this pastime? Just like when Krishna is sucking the two breasts of Putana and killing her, our ignorance is also destroyed. We have two types of ignorance. The ego, ahankar, and mamakar. Ego is, that's the idea of me and mine. So those two breasts of Putana that Krishna sucks are representing the ignorance, the poison that is stored in these two things, mamakar and ahankar. And by sucking out the poison, Krishna has purified Putana. Similarly, when in our lives, when we look at it from that point of view, these two breasts have to be removed, the poison have to be removed from it. And that is the way we understand Putana Leela. And then Ramanujacharya explained that when Krishna is dancing on Kaliya's head, for a layman it's Krishna dancing on a snake's head. But our mind is like a snake also. You see, just like a snake has twists and turns, our mind has twists and turns. It does not go straight. Have you ever seen mind focusing straight on one thing? It will keep turning here and there, isn't it? So just like the mind has twists and turns, our mind, Kaliya also has twists and turns. And the way Krishna dealt with Kaliya was jumping on his head. Until and unless Kaliya took shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, that the mind kept twisting and turning, doesn't go away. Similarly, the wandering serpent of our mind will come under control only when we take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. This is the philosophy of Kaliya Leela. The philosophy of stealing butter. There is so many pastimes of Krishna stealing butter is there. But our body is like a pot. And the Jivatma, the living entity, the Atma that we have is like the butter. So if the butter is pure within the pot, then the Jivatma, so Jivatma is a property of Krishna. But the Jivatma has to be in a pure state for Krishna to come and steal it from the body. Similarly, for the Lord to actually take us back to the spiritual world, He will first check if this butter is pure enough. And only when the butter is pure enough, He'll steal it. So He keeps looking for different houses to steal butter because He's looking for pure butter. And that's the way. So, Ramanujacharya explained that Krishna is performing the simplest of pastimes. But the simplest of pastimes can be understood in a complicated language also, depending on you, isn't it? So, prayer is actually the simplest language in the world. The prayer can be offered by a small child. A small baby can offer prayers. But at the same time, Lord Brahma can offer prayers. Imagine what will be the difference between Brahma offering prayer and a small kid offering a prayer. Obviously, there is going to be a gulf of difference, isn't it? If you look at the prayers of Lord Brahma, we'll study in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh my God, the prayers that Brahma offers is super complicated stuff, which is matching his intelligence. But when a small child offers a prayer according to their intelligence, Krishna loves that also. And therefore, the simplest language in the world is the language of prayers. But the way we offer prayer is depending on our intellectual level. So if you have a high intellectual level, you can offer highly complicated prayers. But if you don't have a highly intellectual level, you can offer very simple prayers And that still will appeal to the Lord, because the prayer, the concept of prayer is simply an expression of the heart. And then Shukadeva Goswami, he next talks about a very important aspect of prayer, which is expressing thanksgiving. He says, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances to the all auspicious Lord Shri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful results without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord." That means, if any of us want anything in our life, we have to first understand that thing can be given to us only by the Lord. So, Shukadeva Goswami is making a list of all these things. So, whatever we do in our life falls in this list. Performer of great learned sages, great performers of charity, great workers of distinction, great philosophers and mystics, great chanters of Vedic hymns, great followers of Vedic principles. Whatever you do falls in this. You cannot achieve it without dedication, without understanding that these great qualities are coming from the Lord only. And therefore, it is important to offer gratitude to the Lord, to offer thanksgiving to the Lord, to offer what belongs to the Lord back to the Lord only, just by in the form of thanking Him through these prayers. The interesting thing is that when we are thanking the Lord for what He is doing for us, the Lord also is in the mood of thanking us for what we are doing for Him. Obviously, what we are doing for Him is nothing compared to what He does for us. But even for the little we do for Him, He is so grateful. And therefore, one of the names of Krishna is known as Kritagya. This is the name of the Lord. His name only is Kritagya. And there is a very beautiful story about how Krishna is Kritagya, so grateful. Before leaving to Vaikuntha, before going back to the spiritual world, Krishna meets Uddhava. Before he ascends back to Golok Vrindavan, winding up his pastimes, Krishna meets Uddhava and he gives him some instructions. But he also reveals his heart. The Lord is complete, right? For the Lord to be complete, actually, He has to have some incompleteness also. If the Lord does not have incompleteness, how is He complete? So He has, when He is winding up and going back to the spiritual world, He is feeling incomplete. So He is telling Uddhava that I have a very deep regret in my heart that I did not give anything to my dear Draupadi, such a dear devotee. And Krishna narrates a beautiful story. He says during the Rajasuya Yajna, there were so many sages and brahmanas were invited. And while I was doing some service for them, I was cutting a fruit that was to offer to them. And while cutting the fruit, my finger got cut. There was a small wound in my finger and I was bleeding profusely. And Draupadi was so worried, she immediately tore a part of her sari and tied it on my finger to stop the bleeding. But when Draupadi needed me the most, during the disrobing, she was calling out, Govinda, Pundrikaksha, she's calling out my names. But I could not do anything for her. So Uddhava says, my dear Lord, what are you saying? Everyone knows that you supplied an unlimited sari. She tied a little bit of her, one little piece of the sari to your hand. You gave her an endless supply of sari. You already repaid her. Krishna says, oh, you don't understand. I didn't repay her. My name Govinda repaid her. So she took my name Govinda, and my name Govinda itself is so powerful that it sent that unlimited supply of sari. Govinda Naam incarnated in the form of the sari. I didn't get a chance to reciprocate. So Krishna is saying, I am feeling so bad that my name reciprocated with her, name gave her what she wanted, but I did not get a chance to give her anything in return for what she did for me. Uddhava realized, what a person this is, isn't it? I mean, can we ever think in that direction also, in terms of reciprocation? Krishna, for even the little things that we do for Him, He is so grateful. so grateful. Imagine how grateful he is to all of us. Chanting 16 rounds, 2 hours every day, spending chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Kali Yuga. I'm sure he must be so grateful to all of us, isn't it, for the little that we're doing for him. Obviously, we shouldn't think like that. We shouldn't think, oh, Krishna should be grateful to me, We should always think that I am so insignificant. I mean, I should ideally be doing 24 hours bhakti. But Krishna is allowing me to do bhakti for 2 hours and get away with it, basically, And he's giving me the result of practically doing so much. So, for whatever I'm doing, even my ability to chant comes from Krishna only. Even my ability to develop taste for hearing the holy names or hearing Hari Katha comes from Krishna only. Even my ability to sing or dance or do any kind of devotional service comes from Krishna only. So whatever we do, that also comes from Krishna only. And therefore this thanksgiving is just a way of, that's the least we can do. Just like when you go to the Ganga to have a bath, the least we can do is offer water of Ganga back to Ganga only. Just to say that I am grateful, that's all. And that's the whole idea here. Whenever we offer prayers to the Lord, there has to be an element of thanksgiving in it. There has to be an element of gratitude in that prayer. And then this verse is one of the very famous verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Sumbha Yavana Kashadaya Yenyecha Papam Yadapa Shraya Shraya Sudyante Tasmai Prabhu Vishnave Namaha. And this verse is a very special verse in this particular section of the Bhagavatam. And Shukadeva Goswami is speaking it in this particular context. I'll tell you what the verse means. Kirata Huna Andhra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Sumba Yavana, members of the Kashak races, and even others addicted to sinful acts, can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So here, Shukadeva Goswami is giving a list of names of different tribes and castes from that era. And if you read the description of in Prabhupada's purport in this particular verse, it's amazing how much details Prabhupada goes into to describe each of these, where these countries are. These different races that Shukadeva Goswami is speaking about are actually from different countries in the world. And in one of the names, he actually Prabhupada goes on to describe the size of the moustache and where moustache doesn't grow and where moustache grows. All that he goes on to describe details, to describe people from a particular country. Imagine. And why is Shukadeva Goswami talking about all these different people from different tribes and all that? To help us understand that no matter where you are from the world, which part of the world you are, which community, which caste, which religion, which country, which background you are from, the moment you take, and no matter how much sinful addictions you have in your life, the moment you take shelter of a devotee of the Lord, you get purified. That's all. So Shukadeva Goswami, in the middle of praying to the Supreme Lord, he glorifies the devotee of the Lord in between. You know why? Because he knows the way to enter into the Lord's heart is by glorifying the devotee. So whenever you're offering prayers to the deities, to the Supreme Lord, somewhere within your prayer, we should also include an element of glorifying some devotee. Because that catches attention of the Lord. He might not be attracted by your intellectual prayers and all that stuff. But suddenly when you glorify a pure devotee of the Lord in between your prayer, suddenly that attracts the Lord and the Lord starts paying attention to your prayers. And therefore Shukadeva Goswami brings in an element of glorifying a devotee in between his prayers. One time, there was a great devotee named Narayan Rishi. He went to Tirupati and he did penance with a desire to have darshan of Tirupati Balaji. And not only Tirupati Balaji gave him darshan, but he also named one of the 7 hills after this great sage named Narayan Rishi. Therefore, one of the 7 hills is known as Narayanadri among this in Tirupati. So there was a king whose name was Tondeman. He was doing a yajna for the welfare of the country. And his priest, his name was Jatadhari. So he was invited to perform this yajna. But this person, this priest, he had some evil intentions. He was thinking of doing a yajna in such a way that instead of doing good to the country, it'll actually harm the country. That was his intention. And the king did not know this. And the king decided to invite all the sages in the nearby area to come for this yajna. And Narayan Rishi also was invited. But Narayan Rishi refused to come. And he said that, so somehow Narayan Rishi got to know that this person is doing yajna for destruction of the kingdom. And so this Jatadri, when he heard that Narayan Rishi had refused, he realized why Narayan Rishi has refused. And he got scared that the king might find out the reason. So he went and started poisoning the king's mind against Narayan Rishi, saying that, see, everybody has come, this person has not come, which means this person does not desire good for you. And therefore, this person should be imprisoned immediately. So the king, he heard this, this Jatadri, and he called Narayan Rishi, saying that, I want to meet you. So Narayan Rishi said, I will not come. I will not come to this country at all. And he said very clearly that I will not come to this country where somebody is doing a yajna for the destruction of that country itself. So the king said, are you going to disobey my order? Narayan Rishi said, for me there is only one king, and that is Balaji. Malayappa Swami is my only king. I don't accept any other king in this world. And this king got really upset, and he put Narayan Rishi in a jail. And he said that if you really think that there's only one king in this world and there's no other king in this world, then I challenge you with two things. He, in his prison cell, he put a lot of bamboo sticks, large bamboo canes, and he did not give him anything to eat. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. And he said, you eat these bamboos and survive. Let's see how you manage to survive. And then he said that by the next day morning, I want to see if your deity is actually the king. I want to see if you can turn all the bars of this prison into gold. And the king went away, thinking this is an impossible thing that is going to happen. And this person will die unnecessarily in the prison only. Narayan Rishi, he did not get disturbed. He just started praying to the Lord. That night, the Supreme Lord sent Gajendra. And Gajendra, the elephant, came over there and ate all the bamboos. And then he told Mahalakshmi Devi just to glance at the prison. The moment she glanced at the prison, all the doors and windows of the prison turned into pure gold. And the next day when the king came over there, he saw there was the whole pile of bamboos had disappeared. It is impossible for such a huge number of bamboos to disappear in one night, unless some really miraculous thing has happened. And all that, all the metal over there has turned into gold. So that's when the king realized that he made a big mistake in dishonoring, this great sage. Great sages have ways of looking at things and seeing a very different picture. There was one person who was walking on the street, and he saw outside a temple there were two dogs fighting against each other. And the two dogs got so intense into fighting that they bit each other and both of them died. And when the owners of these two dogs came out and they saw both their dogs had bitten each other and both died, they started beating each other and both of them killed each other and they died. There was one fellow who was observing this. This person, when he saw this, he said, this is too much. He said, two ordinary dogs died, and the owners of these two dogs loved them so much that they fought with each other and died for the sake of their dogs. He said, if an ordinary master of a dog can be so much in love with his dog, how much great will be the love of the Supreme Lord towards his dogs. So he said, that day only I want to resign from all my work and become a devotee of the Lord. He gave up his job and became a full-time devotee. And he really absorbed himself in the Lord. And eventually, he composed a very beautiful prayer. And he said, my dear Lord, you are Bhaktavatsal. You guard one elephant and you killed another elephant. You saved one monkey and you killed another monkey. You saved one brother and you killed another brother. And you destroyed one demon and you protected another demon. So he was actually meaning that, the one elephant that he destroyed was Kolea Pid, the elephant, and the one elephant that he protected was Gajendra. The monkey that he destroyed was Vali, and the monkey that he protected was Sugriv. And the brother that he protected was Arjun, and the brother that he killed, the cousin that he killed was Shishupal. And the demon that he protected was Vibhishan, and the demon that he killed was Ravan. So essentially what he was saying was that anybody who takes shelter of you, you protect that person, and therefore you are a Bhakta Vatsal. So great devotees of the Lord, when they are glorified, it makes the Lord very happy. And that's why Shukadeva Goswami inserted this element of glorification of great devotees in between. And then Shukadeva Goswami is praying to the Lord over here that, so he is offering a series of 3 or 4 prayers here. And all the prayers, he is glorifying the Lord, and the end of the prayer is saying, please be pleased with me. So he offers 4 prayers, and he says, if you look at these verses, Bhagavan Prasidatam, it ends, the word Prasidatam me Bhagavan, Bhagavan Prasidatam. So the 4 verses, he is begging the Lord, please be pleased with me, be pleased with me, be pleased with me, be pleased with me. Essentially, whenever we offer a prayer, we should ask for something. Many times we have this notion that we should not ask anything from the Lord. Yes, we should not ask anything material from the Lord. But He is our Father. He is the most powerful person in the universe. If you go in front of somebody so powerful and you don't even ask, why do you go? Isn't it? It's like disgrace to Him only. It's not a disgrace to you. I mean, anyway, there's no grace in you at all. But when you go in front of such a big person, ask something useful, isn't it? It's a value of that moment of time with that person, isn't it? And if you don't have anything useful to ask, don't go in front of that person. So if you're anyway going in front of the Supreme Lord and standing there for a few minutes, might as well ask Him something useful. Even if it is a small thing. But if you can ask something useful for your spiritual progress, nothing like it. So if you're not so advanced, you might ask material things. But if you want to grow in your spiritual journey, ask for some spiritual benediction. Ask for some spiritual boon. So here Shukadeva Goswami is asking for being merciful on him for what? Because now he has something personal to ask over here. The last verse in this series, Shukadeva Goswami is telling the Lord, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. Now here, he is coming to the real agenda why he has offered this entire prayer. Why he has offered this entire prayer? Because he wants to speak on creation. Right? So Parikshit Maharaj asked him to speak on creation. He's about to speak on creation. But before he speaks on creation, he is telling, my dear Lord, you are the creator. You are the one who has created all the 16 elements. You are the one who has created everything. Please give me the right words, that the right words can come out from my mouth. And so he's saying, please decorate my statements. Please let the right words come out from my mouth and the right thing I can speak. Every single prayer that we offer should have a personalization. See, typically, most of us offer prayers that are offered by great acharyas already. Kunti Maharani's prayers, Gajendra's prayers, Prahlad's prayers. We offer those prayers. That's great. But along with offering the prayers of great personalities, we should also add a small element of our own personal, request, personal glorification, personal suggestions, personal touch to the prayers. And here, Shukadeva Goswami is specifically in this particular verse, specifically asking for this, because this is his need now. From the next verse onwards, he is going to speak about creation. Therefore, now he is saying, let me at least ask the Lord for empowerment so that the right words come out from my mouth. I'll end with one little story of Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, during the last phase of his life, he had a desire, and he called one of his, disciples, who was Parashar Bhatta. So Parashar Bhatta was the son of Kurutalwar, who is a very, very exalted personality. Parashar Bhatta was born from Ranganath's Mahaprasad. Kuresh's wife ate Ranganath Mahaprasad and became pregnant with Parashar Bhatta. So imagine, Parashar Bhatta is the direct, empowered, incarnation of Ranganath Swami itself. And Ramanujacharya, he called Parashar Bhatta during the last phase of his life. And he said that in my lifetime, there was one desire of mine that is not fulfilled. In Karnataka, there is a very powerful scholar named Vedanti Madhvacharya. This is not Sripad Madhvacharya. This is somebody else. Because Sripad Madhvacharya came like much later on Ramanujacharya, almost 200 years after Ramanujacharya. So this is Vedanti Madhvacharya. He says, this person is a great scholar of Vedanta, but he doesn't have the proper understanding of it. I want you to go and debate with him, defeat him, and make him a Vaishnava. And obviously, Ramanujacharya told Parashar Bhatta that to win against Vedanti Madhvacharya, unless and until has words that are coming out from his mouth which are directly empowered by the Lord, nobody can defeat him. So he says, I know the only person I know of whose words are directly empowered by Ranganath is you. So he says, I want you to go and defeat him. So Parashar Bhatta decides to take up this service. Reaching Vedanti itself was impossible, because Vedanti was such a great scholar at that point in time. He was so powerful. He lived in such a palatial building that even walking up to his building and his personal quarters was impossible. And in fact, Vedanti had 20 layers of disciples who had to be defeated to reach him. So he was such a great scholar that you can't directly defeat him. You have to first defeat the 21st disciple. And if you defeat him, then you get to defeat the 28th disciple. And if you defeat him, then you get to defeat the 19th disciple. Like that, you keep defeating one disciple, and finally you get to debate against Vedanti. So Parashar Bhatta said, if by the time I reach Vedanti, it will be many years. So he said, I have to find another way to defeat Vedanti. So what he saw, he started doing research. And he found out one person who's come from that town of Vedanti to his village. So Parashar Bhatta called him and he told him that you go and tell Vedanti, pass this message to Vedanti somehow, that there is one person called Parashar Bhatta who knows this particular scripture. And Parashar Bhatta was confident that Vedanti has never heard that name at all. And that will immediately intrigue him. And he says, and Parashar Bhatta will tell him, tell Vedanti that Parashar Bhatta is waiting to debate with you. So now Parashar Bhatta, he tells this, when he got to know that this message has reached Vedanti, that day he set to reach Karnataka. He reached the house of Vedanti, and he knew a particular time when Vedanti would come out of his house for Annadan, to do charity of grains to all the beggars. And instead of sitting in the line with all the beggars for food, Parashar Bhatta stood in one corner. Vedanti saw this one man standing in a corner, not sitting in the line at all, though he's sitting, he's among the beggars. Vedanti understood that this must be somebody else. So he went to him and he asked him, why are you not sitting in the line? Parashar Bhatta said, I want to beg, but I don't want to beg food. So he said, what do you want to beg? He said, I want to beg debate. I want to beg words from you. So Vedanti immediately asked him, are you Parashar Bhatta? He got to know there's only one person who has ever, spoken such things, and he must be the person standing here. He said, yes, I have come to debate against you. And he said, do you know who I am? And do you know what my capacity is to come to debate against me? So he said, let us take the challenge and see. And Vedanti called him for a debate. And the debate lasted for so many days. For 9 continuous days, the debate lasted. And after 9 full days, this is not like going and sleeping in the night. Morning to night, they're debating, without sleeping. On the 10th day, Parashar Bhatta quoted from 2 different scriptures that Vedanti had never heard of in his life. And Vedanti fainted. He fell at the feet of Parashar Bhatta and he said, I surrender to you. He said, there is one sleeping god, Ranganath, over there in the altar, and you are walking Ranganath. And he said, I want to take shelter of you. And this person, Vedanti, became a great disciple of Parashar Bhatta. And eventually, Parashar Bhatta comes back to, Srirangam. When Parashar Bhatta comes back to Srirangam, Ranganath Swami is in the procession. And Ranganath has this personal conversation with Parashar Bhatta. And Ranganath asks him, have you defeated Vedanti? And Parashar Bhatta says, yes, I have defeated Vedanti. And Vedanti has become now a devotee. He's become a disciple. And he's become a Vaishnava. And Ranganath Swami started saying, I can't appreciate enough how great you are in debate and arguments. And Parashar Bhatta said, my dear Lord, you are the master of all words. Whatever words are coming out from my mouth are by your grace. And without your grace, I can't even speak one single word. One of the names of the Lord is known as Vakmi. Vak means speech. And Vakmi means the one that empowers your speech, the one who has great speech, and then the one who can empower your speech also. So whenever we offer prayers to the Lord, we obviously should personalize our prayers. So in this particular context, Shukadeva Goswami is asking the Lord for empowerment of his words, because that's what he needs at this point in time. For obviously for all of us, we may need different things that we need empowerment for. We may be in different situations of life. And at the end of our prayers, we offer a small element of, request to the Lord, or a small element of, appreciation to the Lord. And at the end, just talk about a little bit of what we need. So Shukadeva Goswami has finished the entire prayer. The last verse, rather the second last verse, he's saying, please empower my words. That's the whole agenda of the prayer, by the way. But the agenda is like the last little thing in the end. And then he ends the prayer with something most amazing. Namastasmai Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vedase Vapurgyanam Soumya Yanmukham Buruhasavam. He ends the prayer by offering respects to Vyasadeva, his own guru, Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami's father is Vyasadeva, right? And he's also the guru of Shukadeva Goswami. So he's saying, I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarian transcendental knowledge, dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. So in this particular series of verses, if you see, Parikshit Maharaj first glorifies Shukadeva Goswami, who was his guru, and then Shukadeva Goswami offers a series of prayers, and Shukadeva Goswami ends his prayers by offering respects to his guru, Vyasadeva. And therefore, no prayer ends without acknowledging your own guru, without acknowledging your own spiritual master, without acknowledging your own teacher. And the reason we acknowledge our teachers and gurus is because they are so dear to the Lord. And gratitude to the spiritual master helps us become more closer to the Lord and helps the Lord to take us more seriously. And that's what the whole understanding of prayer is. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.